All right. I think that means we are ready to start, people. So remember earlier when I said you didn't have to be quiet? Now you do. All right, so welcome. Welcome those of you tuning in online. We are here. This is us, Common Thread. We are glad you're here. It's kind of a special day today for us. We're honoring 3 of our young people as they move into adolescence, as they move into middle school, as they take this significant step on their journey into adulthood. So welcome. We're very glad you're here. If you are a newcomer, now Margie, it's already up there, never mind. If you are a newcomer, we would love to welcome you, and we'd like to do it in about as non-swarming your space way as we can. And the way we do that is we let you initiate when you would like us to welcome you, and we will welcome you this way. We will send you an email, and in that email will be some links. Here's some stuff you can read about the community. And down at the bottom, there will be a link that says, if you'd like to meet some real live human beings, click this one. You don't have to click it. You can't click it. We hope you will click it. So our website /newcomer, or just use the QR code. Hit it. Perfect. Second thing we say every week, if you're having a rough week, one of the hallmarks of a healthy community is to stand with one another when we are having our rough weeks, and we would love to do that. But we know that we've got this American pressure to not do that because we are rugged individualists. So for us to be that kind of community, we have to both be the kind of people who will listen and care for, but also the kind of people who will tell people when we're having rough weeks. So I hope you will do that 3 ways. Use the QR code, go to our website /soul, or just look in the back, wave. So always going to be somebody there to chat with. All right, now Margie. So let's say it together as we do each week. If you are here, you belong. If you are here, you belong. Excellent. Next one. And we are, every one of us, carriers of the inner light. We are every one of us. So good. And we are, every one of us, carriers of divine breath. Next one. All right. So today is kind of a twofer ritual. We are both doing our monthly work of the people for the people. That's what the word liturgy means. We are also celebrating our middle schoolers as they take this important step into their adulthood. Our theme today, and I am here to introduce it to you, then I'm done, is to let you know that we are going to be talking about oneness is a better description of reality than two-ness. Have you heard that? But we're going to be talking about it across the generations. So we often say that, but today we say it this way. We cannot be our best selves. We cannot be our best community if we are not connected one to another across the generations, old folks and young folks, part of a unified whole. Because, listen to this, young people, we old people, we've got stuff that you need. Here's what we've got. We've got old folks' wisdom. A lot of us do. We've learned a lot of stuff through the years. We know about the old traditions, the things that are worth hanging on to. We've got experience. Believe it or not, we were once middle schoolers, and we know what it's like to get through middle school and to be on the other side of it. We also know important stuff you might want to know, like how to make an omelet. We know that stuff. We know stuff that you might want to know. We know stories you might want to hear. But most of all, as we move into elderhood, this surprised even us. We've got love. Because you won't know until you get here. But when you get to this age, we old folks, we see you young folks, and this thing just happens inside of us. It's kind of crazy, but we love you kids. So, old folks have got stuff young folks need. Interestingly, young folks have got stuff that old folks need. You understand the culture better than we do, ways that we will often miss it. You are innovative. You are creative. You are full of the energy of newness. You see the world from a different perspective. You can change old thinking in ways that we might have gotten a little bit inflexible and unable to change. So you are adaptable. You are open. Sometimes that's hard for us. you see what needs to change in the world. You will notice that it's mostly the young people that drive social change, social justice, social awareness, care for the environment, community well-being, all of those things. So you're a lot more tech savvy than we are, and so we need what you have. So when we say everything is connected, or when we say oneness is a better description of reality than two-ness, they're more than just pretty words. It works out in a very meaningful way when young people and old people begin to function more as one than two. So that's our hope at Common Thread. It's our plan now that we're almost moved in. As soon as we get the lights in, we'll be finished with all the project kind of stuff. Our plan is to create more multi-generational spaces to do these things together, and today's focus is to celebrate our middle schoolers moving into this new season of life. And as we do that, we do something that we do 4 times every year. Get ready, we're going to do it again. We sing this song. Every time we celebrate one of these milestones, we sing Write the Story on My Heart. When we welcome our babies, we call that day, that ritual, Welcome to the Story. When we welcome our elementary school kids as they move up, we call it Learning the Story. When we talk about today with the middle schoolers, we call this ritual, that's today, Finding Yourself in the Story. And then when our kids leave home, we call that Writing Your Own Story. So today we're going to sing the song. Please sing it with gusto. Let's go. Come on, Joe.
Ready, Freddie? Here we go. They say you're the source of everything, the one we taught the wind to sing, the source of the rhythm my heart keeps beating. They say you can lead the blindness sight, you can bring the dead to life. You can be the hope my soul's been seeking. I want to tell you now that I can see it. I want to tell you now that I can see it. I do, but I can let you through. Oh, I'm an empty page. I'm an open book. Let's write a story on my heart, and I will do my part. My food and my hope, love around my soul. Right now is the time to start. Let's write a story on my heart. Write a story, write a story. Come on, let's write a story, write a story, write a story on my heart. I'm an empty page, I'm an open book. Let's write a story on my heart, and I will do my part. Author of my hope, lover of my soul, right now is the time to start. Let's write a story on my heart, write a story, write a story. Come on, let's write a story, write a story, write a story on my heart.
We light this lamp to remind us. Every time we glimpse it out of the corner of our eyes, the divine is everywhere, in everything, in everyone. For what it's worth, I did light it earlier.
There's a time for everything, a season for everything that happens under the sun. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to harvest, a time to laugh, a time to weep, a time to mourn, a time to dance, a time to be a child, a time to emerge into adulthood.
We ring this bowl to mark this time separate, to tell ourselves in these moments to pay special attention, to listen behind the words, to listen for the whispers of wisdom, the quiet inner voice. Come a little bit closer and go ahead, Jonah. A prayer inspired by 1 Corinthians 13. When we are children, we speak and think as children do. We start off experiencing little bits of the divine, like seeing through a cloudy glass. And as we grow in the spiritual life, we emerge into a new way of being, a way that can see God and experience the divine, becoming more and more able to see more and more clearly. That's our prayer for all our young people. That's our prayer for ourselves, and that's our very particular hope for each one of you three moving up today.
God, teach us to be one. If you're holding an instrument, that means you know what to do with it. So this is the time to do it. 1, 2, 1, 2, here we go. Mountains to the shore,
God, teach us to be one.
the homeless and the poor.
God, teach us to be one.
When our sense of hope is strong,
God, teach us to be one.
when our strength is almost gone.
God, teach us to be one.
God, teach us to be one. God, teach us to be one. Unity shine like the sun through every life. When we cry to you in prayer,
God, teach us to be one.
when we don't believe you're there,
God, teach us to be one.
when we feel your gentle hand,
God, teach us to be one.
when we just don't understand.
God, teach us to be one.
God, teach us to be one. God, teach us to be one. May unity shine like the sun through everyone. When we're walking in the light,
God, teach us to be one.
when our hearts are dark as night,
God, teach us to be one.
when we get what we desire,
God, teach us to be one.
when we're going through the fire.
God, teach us to be one.
God, teach us to be one. God, teach us to be one. May unity shine like the sun through everyone.
Today, we adults acknowledge the vital, important, and valued part of our community our young people are. Today, together, we make the commitments we do for each group as they take this significant step into adulthood. Young people, these are our commitments to you, to all our young people, really, for the years we get to have you with us. Community, let's stand and extend our hands to them as we make these pledges.
Where are they? Right here. Right here? That's them right here? All right, we got it.
You can bring us your questions, worries, doubts, and fears, and know that you will be respected and treated with care. We will listen to you. Even as we are here for you, we are delighted that you are here for us, as you reflect love and grace and goodness in ever unfolding new and beautiful ways. We will learn from you. We joyfully anticipate seeing the way God works in and through your lives as you help shape our community and find yourselves in the story. We welcome your gifts, your talents, and your light.
And if you all wouldn't mind extending your hands again, believe it or not, because you guys are going to be blessed today.
Like a stand-up, extend our hand, or sit down, extend our hand?
You can extend your hands while seated. Be fine. First, we're going to have a blessing of gratitude. We are grateful for the gift of your presence in our lives and for the incredible person each one of you is. As you navigate the journey of adolescence and emerging adulthood, may you be surrounded by love, joy, and endless opportunities. Amen. Amen. Blessing of transformation. May this transitional time be a period of transformation where you embrace the changes within you and step confidently into the person you are always becoming. May you find courage in facing your challenges, grace in celebrating your successes, and purpose in every stage of your life. Amen. And a blessing for inner peace. May you find inner peace and balance as you navigate the journey ahead. May you learn to trust yourselves, cultivate self-love, and find solace in times of uncertainty. May your spirit be strong and your heart open, spreading light and goodness wherever you go. Amen. Shelby, come on. It is your turn, Shelby.
All right, I'm going to go with the short one. All right, I'm going to invite our rising middle schoolers to come up with me. I'd like to introduce them to you all. So you three come on up. Let's see, I think we're starting with Zoe. Yeah. All right, so Zoe, you come over here. All right, this is Zoe. Zoe has been, hi Zoe. Zoe has been a blessing to have in our class. She is wise and insightful. She is always willing to lend a hand. Zoe has well thought out answers to all of our questions. She leads by example, and she carries an attitude of kindness and self-control. We look forward to watching her thrive with the opportunity to connect with peers and the divine on a deeper level as she moves into her teen years. All right, this is Graham. Graham has been an awesome addition to our elementary class as well, and I'm looking forward to his continued time with us. From the very first day that I met him and his brother, they both fit right in. They just jumped into everything. Graham has been amazing at participating and brings a fun and engaging energy to our group. As he moves into our teenage group, we look forward to seeing the new friendships he forms and the growth of God in him as he navigates the expanding light inside of him. This is Azalea.
Hello, Azalea.
Azalea is our #1 assistant leader. She is motivated, responsible, and very funny. She loves to read books to our class. She often assists with our babies. She'll just hop right in there and really help all of the other kids. We enjoy her sense of humor and her ever joyful spirit. As she moves into her teen years, we look forward to seeing her continued growth as a leader and experiencing a deeper level of belonging and development on her ongoing spiritual journey. One more thing that I did not put in my notes, but I realized this morning as I was getting ready, is that my wishes and hopes and all of our love is amazing, but it's lacking what I truly hope that they find. And so, everybody. So I also would like to just say a short prayer over them. Come really close, because I love you. All right. So God, divine presence, universal goodness, please help our teens find your light in them, navigate all the difficulties of this age, protect their hearts, help them find strength and courage in your presence. And even when they feel all alone in these hard times in their teen years, remember that your light is in them and that they are strong and they are beautiful and they are oh so loved. Amen. All right, so you guys hang here. And now I'm going to invite up one of our parents. This is Azalea's mom, Kristen. She's going to say a few special words for her daughter as a reflection of our hopes for all of our rising middle schoolers.
Good morning. I wrote this for Azalea, but I think it applies to all of you. Today, as we gather to celebrate this significant moment in our dear daughter's life, I'm filled with immense gratitude and hope. We stand on the threshold of their journey into the teens group, and it's a moment that brims with promise of discovery, growth, and connection. As you step into this new phase of your spiritual journey, I want you to know how incredibly beautiful your souls are. Your spirit shines with a radiant light that warms the heart of those around you. As you continue to navigate the path of adolescence and walk towards adulthood, my greatest wish for you is to embrace the divine light within you. As you grow more confident in yourself and explore the depths of who you are, remember that your presence has the power to make a profound impact on the lives of others. The kindness, compassion, and wisdom that reside in your hearts are gifts that you can share with the world. Your journey is not just about self-discovery, it's about discovering how you can touch the lives of those around you in ways you may never fully realize. In this community, surrounded by friends who care deeply for you, may you find the support and encouragement you need. Lean on them whenever you have doubts or questions, for together we are stronger. Your peers in this church are on their own journeys, and as you connect with them, you'll find that your paths intersect, creating a tapestry of shared experiences, growth, and love. This journey is not without challenges, but through every twist and turn, every moment of doubt or uncertainty, you have a community that stands beside you. Your faith is your guide, your heart is your compass. As you continue to learn, reflect, and grow, may you draw strength from your connection to the divine, the knowledge that you are cherished and loved beyond measure.
All right, thank you, Kristen. All right, so you've heard from us, you've heard from the community. I'm going to invite all of our teens to kind of scooch over here and line up. So while they're coming up, our teens are now going to welcome you into their class.
Look at those cool shirts.
I know, we look so cool in our shirts. Whoops. All right, shirts are right here.
We welcome you, your thoughts and your ideas and your opinions, and we're excited, and we hope that you will learn and grow, and I think you'll really love this group.
We welcome you. Here you are accepted.
We welcome you with open arms. We'll respect your ideas, your opinions, and your boundaries.
We'll have fun together. We'll learn from you. We have good snacks, and and we'll help you find your value and who you are.
We're all very excited to meet y'all and learn more about y'all.
We will help you grow. We will learn from you, and we'll be your friends.
We value your thoughts, we'll be your friends, and we hope to learn from you, and we hope to help you grow.
Great job, guys. Well, we are so excited for you guys to join our group. Thank you so much for being here and being a part of everything. As a part of the group and just us welcoming you, we did a little competition, a little t-shirt design competition, and we made these t-shirts. As you can see, we're all wearing the same t-shirts. The design on here is actually from all of the teens' drawings themselves. Shelby put them all together, and on the back you can see, it says, "If you're here, you belong." So we want to give you guys these t-shirts as a welcoming to our group, and we're just so excited to have you guys with us. So if you're here, you belong. All right, we're going to go back to our seats now.
But let's give them another hand. Welcome. Come on up here, Jonah. We're going to conclude this liturgy and this ritual by ringing the bowl one more time. Thank you. Young folks, you are dismissed to go to your classrooms. Oh, no, they're not. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We have one more song to go. Just kidding.
I think this is a perfect song to end our liturgy with, especially this liturgy. See me beautiful, look for the best in me. It's what I really am and all I want to be. It may take some time, it may be hard to find, but see me beautiful. See me beautiful each and every day. Could you take a chance? Could you find a way to see me shining through in everything I do and see me beautiful? See me beautiful, look for the best in me. It's what I really am and all I want to be. It may take some time, it may be hard to find, but see me beautiful. See me beautiful each and every day. Could you take a chance? Could you find a way to see me shining through in everything I do and see me beautiful?
People, All right, let us stand up together, turn to someone nearby, pass the peace of God, the blessing of the divine one to another. Kids, you can line up and be dismissed, and we are ready to go. Thank you. Yeah. And as you're being seated, we've got a few announcements to make. As you're being seated, we've got a few announcements to make. The music is there to help you sit down. How's it working? Hey, you in the back, people, time to sit down. We're going to have to go for the bell, I think. As you're being seated, we've got a few announcements to make. Yep. How about this? I'm bringing back the school bell, people. Okay, a few announcements, a few ways that you can connect in the community. You can see today, those of you online, what are you thinking? It happens on Zoom. After we do it in the room, you could do it on Zoom. Today, I think Angie's mom's got sick, so she's not going to be here to talk about bylaws. If you didn't get your answers to bylaws, I'm sorry. Today we're going to have a pop-up picnic, especially for the newcomers if you're an old comer. And if you didn't bring any food, here's the thing. I went out and bought some string cheese and wheat thins. So I will share my food with you if you would like. We've got a one-week internal assembly coming up, and we've committed to have at least 5 people there. I'm going to be there. Will anyone come and join me at this thing? So there's 2. Come on, we need 3 more. Come on. 3, there's 3. It's going to be at St. Ambrose Church. It's right around here. It's close by here. Come on. We got 3. Come on, 2 more. We got to get 2 more. How about you, Julie Thompson? What would you think about going? Yeah, she's not even listening. All right, well, I'm going to keep tracking people down. We got to get 5 people there. On the Wednesday, the 6th, morning meditation on Zoom is going to resume. I think that's a Wednesday, right? So I lead on Wednesdays. I do Wednesdays and Fridays, so you will see my shining face on Zoom. Also that evening, the book club starts, How to Change Your Mind. We've got a Braver Angel, Depolarizing Within Our Own Minds workshop that's coming up on the 9th. On the 10th, that Sunday, is Club Day. It's a great day for you to be here in person because you will get to meet the people and see the people, things that we do in the community to connect with one another. When you hear us talk about working the circle, that's deeply embedded in a lot of ancient wisdom, but it actually shows up in our calendar. How do we actually take that wisdom and integrate it into things that we can do together for transformation and growth? So you'll hear about that on Club Day. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, Enneagram Seminar. One of the best things that we do in our community is learn about the Enneagram together, learn how to think about ourselves, learn how to think about one another, learn how to transcend what we think is our type that really isn't our type. So in all of these things, you can always find out more going 3 places. You can go to our website, you can open the Thursday email, or you can go to the app and you will find it all right there. Most of the transformative stuff that we do in our community doesn't take dollars. Most of the stuff that really changes our lives takes love, and it takes time. It takes consistent and persistent showing up, being together, being present. It takes steadiness, long commitment in the same direction. But some of the stuff does take money. What money does is give us spaces where we can gather. And it takes about $300,000 a year to do that. When we divvy that up, it's actually not a difficult number to reach, but those dollars come from you and me. Those dollars come from us when we feel the value of our community, when we feel the value of what happens here, we become owners. We take an ownership stake in the community. And we invest in one another. We invest in ourselves. We invest in the future. We invest in our kids. We invest in the organization that then creates this space in which we thrive and flourish. So here's my weekly anthem. We are not throwing money at community. What we are doing is we are investing in. We are seeding change. And in kind of a beautiful twist, what the community does is takes those resources that we give, our love, our time, our energy, and our dollars, and gives them back to us in the form of this space in which growth happens, in which transformation happens. We all do it in practical terms online. You go to our website, you go to the top button, it says donate, or you use the QR code. When you get to that page, it's got several ways you can give. It's about as easy as it can be to do that. So I hope you will do that. Okay, last week, Cherie talked about our national pastime, judging the people on the other side. She didn't say it that way, but that's kind of what she said. You've also been hearing, here's something that we could do. We could spend 3 hours on a Saturday morning, on the 9th, developing skills that will help us change our little sphere of the world. It does not take any skill at all to see how stupid and how hard-hearted and how muddle-headed the other side is. That is not a skill. That's the default setting in our brains. The work and the skill is to not default to that. And it's very doable work. Skill development is something that we can do. If you missed Cherie's talk last week, I hope you'll have a listen online. If you haven't registered for the 9th, boy, I really do hope you'll come. If we get good at this, we could change our families. If we get good at this, we could begin to change our small circle of the world. Now, I said in the email that today is going to be a book report Sunday, 2 books and an article that follow up on a story that Cherie told last week, how right she was to be angry at her childhood religion, and how wrong she was to default to her brain's most base setting. So it is a book report Sunday. I'm going to stitch together these 3 sources to make a point, and here's the point. Boy, I really hope you attend on the 9th. That's the point. Before I start, I want you to know that today's lesson isn't for everybody. I want you to know that I know that I'll be talking to some of us and not all of us. Our community took a turn toward the blue after the 2016 election. Now, that's not everybody. Others, some of us feel kind of nonpartisan. Others of us feel like we are leaning right, but we wish the right hadn't become what the right has become. So today's lesson, I know, is for some people, addresses a potential blind spot for some people. And if that's not you, you do not have to worry. I'm not talking to you. You can just listen while I talk to those other people, all right? Today I'm going to tell you about this book. It's called The Tyranny of Merit. I'll put it up again in a minute while I'm talking about it if you want to get a picture of it. I'm also going to talk about this article. I'll do the same thing. I'll put that up when it's time. What if we are the bad guys here? An article by David Brooks. But I'm going to start with a story from this book. Rich White Men. In the book, the author, Garrett Neiman, tells somebody else's story. He tells the story of this woman, Juliet Lithcott Hames. Now, this woman is smart. Kind of the point of the story is predicated on you understanding this woman is smart. Also, she is a mixed race woman. As a youngster, she tests into the gifted program of her school, like 99th percentile tests in, but even so, she is denied entry. She presses, the principal denies her again, only when her mother comes and gets involved, a white woman, gets all enraged and goes and storms the school, only then does she get into the gifted program. And even so, the first day of her going into it, the principal walks her to her class and says, loud enough for everyone to hear, well, looks like anybody can be gifted if their parents complain enough. That was her story, a woman of color and a gifted program. Then the author goes on to reflect on his own gifted program story as a white guy, because he did not qualify for the gifted program when he was young, but his teacher, unbidden, approaches his mother with a workaround and says, hey, submit this portfolio, do this little bit of extra work, we'll finagle some paperwork, and bam, he's into the gifted program, which takes him into high school in the AP program, gets him into Stanford, and then he goes on to Harvard. So for years, he tells himself, you know what that teacher did? That teacher righted a wrong, because I really am gifted. I just did poorly on one test. But later, he knows more, and he's reflecting on how, as a white guy, he gets a huge inside track. And then the book comes along with lots and lots of statistics, a study out of Johns Hopkins. It's not a big surprise that white teachers disproportionately believe in the potential of white students more than they do students of color. So that's the story. And here's why I told it to you today. I would be very surprised if this was not familiar territory for you. I would be very surprised, given our blue word migration, if that's not something you already know about. Because blue people know that stuff. So, a lot of us know this kind of story. A lot of us know the history of policy decisions with sustained impact. We know about government-subsidized educational access. We know about government-subsidized wealth accumulation that applied to white people, did not apply to people of color, how it went on for decade after decade after decade, and it has had multi-generational impact, and we know how that impact is ongoing today because blue people know that stuff. Blue people know this is not one woman's story. This is not one man's story. It's kind of our nation's story because blue people know that. Also, if you're part of our community, you know that our spiritual tradition insists when you sit on advantage, where much is given, much is required. We say all the time, we cannot be serious about being Christian. We cannot be serious about following our tradition if we are not about the work of justice, the work of making right what is wrong, of healing what is wounded. You've heard me do lessons many times on that Jewish phrase, tikkun olam, to be healers of the world. It's why we're charter members of One Wake. It's why we work with 50 other congregations. It's why I want to get 5 of you to come and show up with me on the 31st, I think it is. We are working together on affordable housing, on public transportation, on homelessness. So, I bet this is not unfamiliar territory for you. And it's quite possible that you would hear these two stories and you would feel like you're on the right side of history. You would feel like there's probably a moral divide, and you're probably on the right side of that moral divide. If the world is divided up into good guys and bad guys, we're good. And who doesn't like feeling good? And who doesn't like feeling a little bit morally superior? So maybe if I use the term morally superior, you can kind of see where this is going. You can kind of anticipate what's coming next. Because you might have started to suspect I was going to say, whoa, 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 hold on a minute, not so fast, mister. The point of today's lesson is not to attack blue people. The point of today is not to say that blue people are bad. The point of today is not to jump on the whataboutism bandwagon that has become so popular, the false equivalency diatribe that the red team seems to be throwing up pretty regularly. It's not that. In fact, in a moment, along with the author of one of these sources, I will confirm that on par, blue people tend to be a good bunch of people, tend to be kind, tend to be concerned for the good of the many, tend to be conscientious, tend to be compassionate. This is not to denigrate the blue team, but it is to suggest we may want to show up. It is to suggest that we might want to attend this event, not for the purpose of straightening out the cretins on the red team. We might want to attend this to see our own blind spots a little more clearly, because we cannot do much about this social ill that infects our society until we first see a bigger picture. And I am pretty confident that the teams do not see a bigger picture. The story that you and I pick up isn't the story. It's a part of the story. And the default picture that we hold on to only sees a part. And that's where this book comes in. Here's the premise of The Tyranny of Merit. The author says that at the root of our nation's political tribalism, there is a story, there is a belief that both sides have bought into hook, line, and sinker. Here's the concept. America is a meritocracy. In America, if you work hard, you can get ahead. Goodness sakes, how many people have said that? How many times have we heard that? That's like apple pie. It's about as American as our founding documents. The book is full of quotes from the left, from the right. Everybody says, in America, you can rise to whatever height your ability will take you. In America, you can rise to whatever height your hard work will take you. The problem is, statistic after statistic after statistics. That's just not true. Study after study after study, that's just not true. Used to be. It is no longer. Ours is no longer a nation of upward mobility. The class into which you are born is the strongest indicator of the class in which you will die. It is not IQ, it is not talent, it is not hard work. Now, there's a whole bunch of reasons why, and the book covers some of them. Many places do outline them. The bottom line, some people in our nation get advantaged, and some people in our nation get disadvantaged. And it's been going on for several decades. And what's been particularly difficult the last few decades is policies have been put in place to make it easier to pass along advantage and to not pass along that advantage depending on where you started. You get to keep your children, or you are kind of constrained to keep your children in the place that you are. So the reality on the ground is Americans can't any longer, Americans don't any longer rise to whatever level their hard work and their talent will take them. But reality on the ground is not kind of the point. The point is we believe it's true. We believe that merit is how we advance. We believe it so devoutly that we don't see when it is demonstrably not true. So, because we all believe the meritocracy gospel, when we succeed, we believe we succeeded on the basis of merit. It was me and my hard work. It was me and my aptitude. That's why I succeeded, which makes us just a little bit inclined toward pride, a little bit inclined toward looking down on those who did not work as hard as we did, who did not go to the good school that we went to. Conversely, when we don't succeed, we also believe merit, which means we're a little bit ashamed. We feel a little bit demoralized, and maybe we get a little grumpy and a little bit angry because in this meritocracy story, not succeeding is a personal failure. Not succeeding is a moral failure. Now, all the while, there are policies in place that give some people the inside track and give other people rocks in their backpacks. That's the power of meaning-making stories. We tell this story, and the story blinds us. We don't see the whole picture. They make us selective seers, these meaning-making narratives that we carry around. Now, again, I would not be surprised in our community if you have heard that. I would not be surprised if when you hear it, you feel a little bit good about what you already know, because you probably do know about the invisible systems that keep marginalized people marginalized. You probably do know about those structures that have been put in place that make it easier for some people and harder for other people. So you might be thinking, I know what Doug's talking about. Good on Doug. Good on Doug. That's something we really should be saying. Because again, the blue team knows stuff. And the stuff that we know tells us we're the good people. We look out for those who are being left out. In many ways, that is really true. Now, I love moral superiority as much as the next guy. It feels really, really good, but just a little bit more book report. This guy, David Brooks, starts his article by saying, how the hell is this clown still a viable candidate? I mean, Access Hollywood, many good people on both sides. All I need is 11,000 votes, 91 indictments. How in the hell is this guy still a viable candidate? Well, nothing if not meaning makers, we human beings. The blue team has latched on to a meaning-making story. And the blue team story goes something like this. Here's how it happened. The once ruling class, white people, well, really white male people, experiencing breakneck demographic and cultural and political change, wants to slow things down, maybe even back things up a little bit. But blue people know if you are black or if you are brown, if you are gay or if you are lesbian or if you are trans or if you are a woman, you have been on the outside for such a long, long time. It is time. There is no more time to slow things down. And knowing that, maybe showing up at a protest, blue people feel enlightened. Blue people feel selfless. Blue people feel concerned for the downtrodden, feel a little bit noble. And the blue people often have a corollary story, and it's a story about the red people. They are a bunch of bigots and racists. They are democracy haters. They are willing to cheat the system in order to stack the votes, in order to stay in power, because they can't do it on the legitimacy of their argument. Now, as with all good disinformation, there's a little bit of truth in the story. But here's the thing about a little bit of truth. It will often blind us to the truth. So a little helpful context out of the article. During Vietnam, in our society, we began dividing up into classes. We are still doing it. In the 60s and in the 70s, children of the educated class, if they went to college, which, by God, they sure did during that time, they didn't have to go to war. Our congressional leaders passed laws that formed an elite class that said parents who wanted their kids to go to college and who could afford it, they didn't have to go and fight the Viet Cong. The children of the educated elite, the children of the large political donors, the children who could influence whether we stayed in the war or didn't stay in the war, those children did not have to go and fight communism. Or, put another way, we are not in this war together. We elites will send off the underclass, and they can do the fighting, and they can do the dying. Also, during the 70s, when it was time to enact Brown versus Board of Education, a notion fully supported by the blue team, we began to integrate schools with busing. But a funny thing happened. School district after school district after school district did not impose busing on upscale neighborhoods, imposed it disproportionately on working class neighborhoods. Or, put another way, we're not going to pay the price to address racial injustice together. We're going to let the underclass pay the price. Also, Blue people generally support free trade and global uplift, support more generous immigration policies because they are more humane, and boy, we should support those kinds of things. We get cheaper stuff, and we can buy cheaper services, and we're doing good for the planet. Who doesn't like that? But here's how it's worked out. Those two policies create very little downward pressure on the salaries of the educated elite. But on the working classes, there's a tremendous amount of downward pressure on the salaries. It worked out very nicely for the blue-leaning counties, for the educated elite counties. They have for some time now been clustering into business enclaves. We live in one of them. There's one in Austin and Silicon Valley, and in Boston, RDU. In 2020, the blue team won 500 of the 3,100 counties. But those 500 counties constitute 71% of the American economy. So, free trade, immigration, cheaper stuff, no downward pressure on salaries, doesn't cost much to be morally superior. Or put another way, we want to think globally and act locally. We just don't want to foot the bill for doing it. We'll let you foot the bill for doing that. We'll let the underclasses foot the bill for that. Wake County is a decidedly blue place. A lot of social systems are working for us because we got a truckload of money being pumped into our county. One example is our schools. When I was running for school board, I learned all about this. Yeah, we have problems, but our school board is also the envy of the nation. Every county in the nation would want to be Wake County schools. And the reason is because our county commissioners cover the gap that the General Assembly is siphoning off, and they can do that with the truckload of money that we have because we are functioning as the educated elite. And because we are generating a truckload of money, we are paying a truckload of taxes, our schools are better off than any other counties in the nation. The social systems are not working for the remainder of those 3,100 counties. Schools are not working for their students. So the best kind of moral superiority is the kind that doesn't cost very much. So today, the educated upper class gets to live in one America, and everybody else gets to live in a different America. And when the educated class sticks up for the marginalized people, as they should, again and again and again, it doesn't cost them a fucking thing. Hey, you all should just scoot over and make room for the marginalized. We're fine, thank you very much. Children of educated people get into good schools where they meet each other, where they marry each other, where they have children after they've left school and get the really good paying jobs, and they use those big salaries to make sure that their children also get into good schools where they meet each other, where they marry each other, and they get good jobs, and then they take all that money to make sure that their children will keep this cycle going and going and going. And we've been sorting our society that way for several generations now. That's what the book Tyranny of Merit's all about. And as you might imagine, there's some people who are pissed off about it. So for some time now, our social norms have been dividing us up into a ruling elite and a lower class, and it's showing up with a whole bunch of angry, angry people living in a tinderbox right now. Increased competition to get to colleges because college is how we measure merit, and the cost of colleges have skyrocketed, so it's harder and harder for some young people to stay out of the job market for as long as it takes to get that 4-year or that 8-year degree, harder and harder for them to not be generating income for those 8 years of their lives. And I know from experience, you do not have to be that smart to get an advanced degree. What you have to do to get an advanced degree is you got to keep showing up. That's all you've got to do. That's the hard part. You got to organize your social construct so that you study. The educated elite are the most insular class, the least likely to have contact with people not like them. They hold the influence, they have the money, and they stake out the moral high ground. They just don't have to pay very much to do it. Now again, the article affirms it, and I know it to be true because I'm talking to my people. I'm in this class of people. We are good people. We are not vicious. We're not wicked, or we are potentially blind. Maybe we could focus a little bit less on straightening out the deplorable bigots and focus a little bit more on seeing the bigger picture. and seeing our own hypocrisy. Now, live in a social arrangement that claims merit, but is not a meritocracy. Exact a high price of some people, but not others. Concentrate wealth in some counties, siphon it off of other counties, and then throw in a dose of moral superiority. Yeah, just call me deplorable one more time. I might be pissed off too. I might even stick with a depraved clown because he's the only one pointing out how duplicitous the whole system has become. I was thinking I'd finish today and draw from the wisdom of our own spiritual tradition to talk about the perils of self-righteousness. And I ran out of words. I only get 2,300 words per lesson. This is it. So I'm going to probably talk about that later, but today here's what I want you to hear. When we, and in Wake County, we very much are, and after our blue word shift as a community, we very much are. When we are in the soup, we can't see the soup. And what Braver Angels offers us is a way to get out of the soup. Here's what our spiritual tradition is going to insist, that we don't make our allegiances to the temporal reality, but we look for a bigger reality. And that bigger reality is bigger than nation, it's bigger than state, it's bigger than political party. It's bigger than the narratives that we have trumped up for each other and now feed each other. There is a bigger reality that says we are, every one of us, carriers of the indwelling divine. And if we're going to be spiritual people, we're going to have to figure out how to make that work in very practical ways. We might need just a little bit of Braver Angels. So indwelling divine, may we be righteous, but not self-righteous. Amen. Well, online folks, too bad for you. You're going to miss what's about to happen. I am going to open the floor, and I bet folks are pissed. However, what you can do is you can go on Zoom, and you can participate in What Are You Thinking there. The link is on the YouTube notes. It's also on the front page of our website, and the password, if you've hung in here this long, is 1417. 1417. All right, so if we would, let's put our hand on our heart. Let's dismiss the folks that are online. Remembering that we are, every one of us, carriers of the indwelling divine. Love and joy, peace, patience, kindness are all in us because we carry the divine. And if you would extend your other hand to our city, let's look for opportunities to repair and to heal the people that we live with, that we work with, that we go to school with, looking for opportunities to repair and heal our worlds. Amen. Thank you all. You are dismissed. All right, folks, what are you thinking?